Good morning, everyone. I've literally just got into my studio. It happened very early this morning about that Tesla privatization. Please excuse me while I put my glasses on. Good morning. And what that seems to be is that I was right last week when we talked about Tesla. We talked about the Tesla privatization, and I surmised that maybe it was Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. And guess what? That does seem to be the source of the funding. Good morning, Johnny. Please forgive me as I wander around. I've just got to the studio for the week, and just bringing in all the supplies and things. On my way in, I was kind of listening to the news. I'm like, oh, okay. So that Tesla thing happened, like I said. So, yeah, it does look like Elon Musk may not have the funding as secure as perhaps it needed to have been before he made that tweet. So I need to do some research this morning. Please excuse me while I fold up my towel. I'm going to need to do some research this morning to make sure that everything is properly set up. I'm going to have some coffee. Please excuse me while I make my coffee. And of course, once I'm caffeinated up, once my dog has had his play of chasing the ball around the studio, we will get going and we will get on with the morning, and we will try and produce a video as quickly as we possibly can, talking about the update to this Tesla privatization. Now, interestingly, I'm not entirely sure what Elon Musk's going to be able to do, what he needs to do as a consequence of all of this, because obviously if he tweeted and suggested in the tweet, if he suggested in the tweet that Tesla had money for this already secured, and it's turned out that maybe that's not the case, then Elon Musk could potentially be getting himself into a little bit of trouble. So we need to do a little bit of research into that, and I'll be doing that this morning once I've got everything up and running. But what do you think of all of this? Do you think this is going to put a spanner in the works for Elon Musk, for Tesla, for this privatization? I'm very interested. It does depend on how funding is secured, as interpreted. Now, let me draw a line under this at the moment. And again, apologies, I'm talking to you in my kitchen, so this is my kitchen. The Transport Evolved kitchen, it's very small. So that's the rest of the studio with the dog. The funding secured means, in this context, the Sovereign Wealth Fund has been on Elon Musk's case now for 2 years, apparently, to sell or to make Tesla private. Now, from that, we can assume that the Sovereign Wealth Fund is both interested and willing to pay to obtain Tesla. Now, there are people out there, probably the same people who tell me, who say stupid things like, ha ha, go be with your sister, on the channel at the weekend, which was just horrible. There are people out there who are going to say, oh, Saudi Arabia, boo, boo, boo. Saudi Arabia does have some issues with human rights. I mean, I couldn't go to Saudi Arabia, for example. But if we leave kind of the politics out of it, and interestingly, the people who moan about Saudi Arabia are the very same people who moan about me bringing politics into Transport Evolved. So, yeah, I'll let you draw your own conclusions there. Saudi Arabia wants to divest from the oil industry. It absolutely needs to divest from the oil industry. There's no other way that it can survive once we hit that point of peak oil, once we hit that point. Some people say we've already hit it, other people say it's on the way. But nevertheless, when we reach that point, we're not going to be able to to argue about, Saudi Arabia's wealth if it doesn't have any left. So what Saudi Arabia is doing is its sovereign wealth fund is looking to divest, as the sovereign wealth fund in Norway has. It's done exactly the same thing. It's earned a lot of money from exploiting the oil and gas industry, and now it's going, well, maybe we can earn the money, maybe we can send the money elsewhere. So got my kettle. So last week, I did some research and obviously pointed out that the sovereign wealth fund in Saudi Arabia is massive. It really is massive. And so it doesn't have any issue at all funding Tesla. Now, the fact that it's been bugging Tesla for the last 2 years to sell or to go private, and Tesla is just about to, or considering doing that, tells me one of two things. Firstly, that Elon Musk's outlook for the company may have changed. Because if they've been badgering him for 2 years to sell, and now he's saying, no, now we'll consider it. It either means that Tesla's valuation has got to a point where Musk's like, okay, the valuation of this company has got to a high enough point that we will allow you to pay $420 per share. Or there are funding concerns, which is what a lot of people have been saying for a while. So I don't know, what do you all think if you're watching this stream? I'm just pushing down on my coffee, so if it looks a bit weird, I'm not bored. I'm just pushing down on my AeroPress. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat while I'm doing that. And maybe I should move my coffee down, and then you can talk to me while I do this. So, what do you think? And I am assuming this is take 2, by the way. I hope it's take 2, because if it's not take 2, we've got a very low view count. If you're watching take 2, it's because take 2 is essentially all of the non-studio stuff that I wouldn't put this on the main channel. It seems to me that everybody who covers electric vehicles likes them some coffee. I don't know if Robert drinks coffee. I think he's drunk. No, we've drunk coffee together. Yeah, he drinks coffee. It is take 2. Good, thank you. Because I was like, maybe this is not take 2. Maybe it's in the wrong place. That would be terrible. All right, so I'm a bit worried about internet censorship. Seems to be ramping up with the FCC moving net neutrality, not transport related, but it has to do with Tesla in the way of data. All right. Well, this is the thing. Censorship's a weird thing right now. And I think net neutrality, honestly, net neutrality needs to be, we need net neutrality. We absolutely do. And I saw that picture, I saw that comment there, will the Saudis provide capital for Model Y? I'll come back to that in a second. So net neutrality, I don't think it's policing what people say so much. But it does make it harder for creators like me to create, because we don't earn enough money to pay a huge amount of money for this. Go play with your ball, pup. All right. So we're now at the welcome to the studio proper. So let me just log into my machine, and we'll try and figure out what's going on from there. What's up? I'm not playing, I'm here to work, sweetheart. I love you and everything, but we're not playing right now. So, someone was asking, will the Saudis provide more money for capital? Well, this is the tough thing. I think they probably will. I'm going to try and pull up this story here, because Tesla made another blog post this morning. Let me find it. So here we go, and it was made by Elon this morning. Thank you, Graylin. As I announced last Tuesday, I'm considering taking Tesla private because I believe it would be good for our shareholders, enable Tesla to operate at its best, and advance our mission of accelerating the transition to sustainable energy. Very well written, Elon. As I continue to consider this, I want to answer some of the questions that have been asked since last Tuesday. What has happened so far? On August 2nd, I notified the Tesla board that in my personal capacity, I wanted to take Tesla private at $420 per share. This was 20% premium over the approximate $350 then current share price, which already reflected a 16% increase in the price since just prior to announcing Q2 earnings on August 1st. My proposal was based on using a structure, where any existing shareholder who wished to remain as a shareholder in a private Tesla could do so, with the $420 per share buyout used only for shareholders that preferred that option. Wow, that was an arm and a leg. After initial meeting of the board's outside directors to discuss my proposal, I did not participate, nor did Kimball. If you don't know who Kimball is his brother. A full board meeting was held. During that meeting, I told the board that the funding discussions that had taken place, more on that below, and explained why this could be in Tesla's long-term interest. So essentially, at that point, Elon met with the board, and he said, this is what's going on, and this is what I think we should do. At the end of the meeting, it was agreed. Oops, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger because I'm blind. At the end of the meeting, it was agreed that as a next step, I would reach out to some of Tesla's largest shareholders. Our largest investors have been extremely supportive of Tesla over the years, and understanding whether they had the ability and desire to remain as shareholders in a private Tesla is of critical importance to me. I'm reading this from Tesla's blog, so don't worry. There is going to be there'll be a video update as soon as I put pen to paper and filmed it. There will be a video update later on. There's also going to be another statement on this channel and probably on the main channel as well about some other things that have been going on. Where was I? They are the ones who believed in Tesla when no one else did, and they are the ones who most believe in our future. I told the board that I would report back after I'd had these discussions. Why did I make a public announcement? The only way I could have meaningful discussions with our largest shareholders was to be completely forthcoming with them about my desire to take the company private. However, it wouldn't be right to share information about going private with just our largest investors. And as a result, it was clear to me that the right thing to do was announce my intentions publicly. And as I think it was Carl just said in the chat, the SEC is going to be all over this, because this is kind of like, you don't do this. To be clear, when I made the public announcement, this just as with this blog post and all the discussions I have on this topic, I am speaking for myself as a potential bidder in Tesla. That's a weird turn of events. Why did I say funding secured? Going back almost 2 years, the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund. I called it last week. I just want to tell you, I called this last week on this channel. Sorry, little bit of excitement there. The only way I could have, going back 2 years, the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund had approached me multiple times about taking Tesla private. They first met with me at the beginning of 2017 to express this interest because of the importance need to diversify away from oil. What did I say? What did I say? I said that last week. Sorry, again, because people are always telling me I don't know what I'm talking about with Tesla, and it's nice to have known that I actually called this spot on the nose, as it were. They held, yes. I can't read the statement and read the chat, so just bear with me. I'm going to be reading up here and then I'll come back down. All right, they first met with me at the beginning of 2017 to express this interest because of the importance need to diversify away from oil. They then held several additional meetings with me over the next year to reiterate this interest and to try and move forward with a going private transaction. Obviously, the Saudi Sovereign Fund has more than enough capital needed to execute on such a transaction, which is exactly what I said last week. It's a drop in the ocean to the Sovereign Wealth Fund. It's a drop in the ocean. Recently, after the Saudi fund brought almost 5% of Tesla stock through public markets, they reached out to ask for another meeting. That meeting took place on July 31st. Now, this is another interesting point, okay? Elon Musk could get in trouble because the meeting took place between Elon Musk and the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund's managing director met on July 31st. The earnings call was August 1st. I am not a trader. I am not a stock analyst. I'm not a Wall Street journalist. But I believe that will also get Tesla in trouble because failing to disclose that meeting is not disclosing material facts, okay? Because, and I'm going to continue reading and then it will become apparent why I believe this. Recently, after the Saudi fund brought almost 5% of Tesla stock through public markets, they reached out for another meeting. That meeting took place on July 31st. During the meeting, the managing director of the fund expressed regret that I had not moved forward previously on a going private transaction with them, and he strongly expressed his support for funding a going private transaction with Tesla at this time. I understood from him that no other decision makers were needed and they were eager to proceed. This is the important material facts. I left the July 31st meeting with no question that a deal with a Saudi sovereign fund could be closed, and that it was just a matter of getting the process moving. This is why I referred to funding secured in the August 7th announcement. And that there, ladies and gentlemen, is the problem that Elon now faces. But whether we will be able to see that happen or not is another matter. And this is quite scary. So, following the August 7th announcement, I've continued to communicate with the managing director of the Saudi fund. He's expressed support for proceeding subject to financial and other due diligence and their internal review process for obtaining approvals. He has also asked for additional details on how this company would be taken private, including any required percentages and any regulatory requirements. Another critical point is to emphasize that before anyone is asked to decide on going private, full details of the plan will be provided, including the proposed nature and source of the funding to be used. However, it would be premature to do so now. I continue to have discussions with the Saudi fund, and I'm also having discussions with a number of other investors, which is something that I always plan to do since I would like Tesla to continue to have a broad investor base. It's appropriate to complete those discussions before presenting a detailed proposal to an independent board committee. It is worth clarifying that this is the other thing. This is the other important thing. It is also worth clarifying that most of the capital required for going private will be funded by equity rather than debt. Meaning that this would not be like a standard leveraged buyout structure commonly used when companies are taken private. I do not think it would be wise to burden Tesla with significant debt. Therefore, reports that more than $70 billion would be needed to take Tesla private dramatically overstate the actual capital raise needed. The $420 buyout price would be only used for Tesla shareholders who do not remain within our company if it is private. My best estimate now is that approximately 2/3 of shares owned by all current investors will roll over into a private Tesla. What are the next steps? As mentioned earlier, I made the announcement last Tuesday because I felt it was right and fair thing to do, that all investors had the same information at the same time. I will now continue to talk with investors, and I've engaged with advisors to investigate a range of potential structures and options. Among other things, this will allow me to obtain a more precise understanding of how Tesla's existing public shareholders will remain shareholders if we become private. If and when a final proposal is presented, and this is the other thing, if and when a final proposal is presented, an appropriate evaluation process will be undertaken by a special committee of Tesla's board, and I understand it's already the process of being set up, together with legal counsel it has selected. If the board process results in an approved plan, any shared regulatory approvals will be needed to be obtained, and the plan will be presented to shareholders for a vote. In other words, we are, if we assume, how long are my hands on this screen? Okay, so if we assume that this is the Tesla privatization process between these 2 points, we are currently here, or maybe even here. And he is going to be in trouble because he didn't disclose material facts. Had he made the initial announcement? So, okay, so there are 3 issues with with Elon Musk's proposal here, and I don't want people to think that I'm just hammering on Elon, because I am not hammering on Elon. Sorry, someone just asked me for lunch, a lunch date, and I'm in a live stream and I know they're watching. Blah, blah. That'll make them laugh. Anyway, as I was saying, she said she had to get back to work. I hope she sees that. That's her. I hope she sees that before she leaves. Blah, blah. Anyway, as I was saying, Tesla gets itself into trouble about this because Elon Musk had the meeting on July 31st, the day before the shareholder meeting. Had Elon left that meeting, and in his own words, he had no doubt that the deal was going to happen, he should have then disclosed that in the forward-looking statements for Tesla in the shareholder letter. That would have been the appropriate place to have disclosed this information. To have waited a week and then to have disclosed it strikes me as problematic. And I don't know what you all think, but that's where I am with this. It feels problematic. And that worries me quite a lot. It really does worry me quite a lot. And I think that Tesla could find itself in a lot of trouble going forwards. All right, I've now got the comment stream up on my computer, so I'm actually now able to go from there. All right. You're right, Lee. He didn't say he was going private. He said he wanted to go private. He said he was thinking about going private. But the issue here is more that, hang on, we're talking about the latest developments with Tesla's privatization. I can't type and talk at the same time. Join me live. I'm just promoting this because I'm just going to be talking about this. All right, so the issue about all of this is that we are in a position right now where we don't know how much information Elon has on the deal. Really? He's sort of being a bit vague still. I mean, he's saying, hey, well, we want to do this, and we've got to make sure that we've got all these other things in process, and I want to be open and honest with you. But at the same point, that's a very naive thing to do when you're dealing with the stock market. I really wish that hadn't happened, if that makes sense. So the same situation as a year before. The key statement was funding secured. It's not. Yeah, you're totally right there, Carl. Funding is not yet secured, and that is the big challenge. That's the big scary bit at the moment, really. And the challenge for this is that we are in a position where we could see Elon getting in a real hot mess. We're heading in the right direction. I think you're probably right. I think we are heading in the right direction with that. But still, there are still some issues, right? There are still some issues. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't think we're heading in the right direction. I don't think it's mass production battery pounds worldwide. Yeah, you're right. But the SEC is going to take a dim view of this. I think that's where we're at right now. You have to bear with me because I really am just in the channel. I've just got off to the office. So I'm trying to figure out, where we go from there. I'm now going to look, I'm going to try and add some cards on here. I've heard lots of stories about insider trading. This gets my paranoia going. Well, this is my point. This really is my point. Let's have a look at the stock price. The stock price has taken a tumble. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, so it started high this morning, 9:30. It was at 360. It's now at 353. So it is down nearly was it 379 it kind of got up to the other day. So it's down $20, and it's continuing to fall. And the issue is that this could destabilize Tesla. And also, the other issue that I see here is that by saying I'm thinking about taking Tesla private, funding secured, maybe we should have been a little bit more on the ball when we were talking about that, because I'm thinking about Tesla private I'm thinking about taking Tesla private is a thought. Funding secured is a definite. So a potential and a definite in the same quote. All right, he's always made his position clear on wanting Tesla private. Hang on, I've lost that chat. So let's go back here. He's always made his position clear on wanting Tesla private. They've given him a solid reason to follow up. Whether he does or not, it hurts the shorts and their FUD. Yes, it does hurt the shorts, but the issue, the problem, the bigger, old, massive, huge problem with all of this is that Tesla likes being creative with how it does things. And that's perfectly fine. Creative in the car industry, disruptive, that's great. But can you be disruptive in the stock market? Maybe not. And that might be the big challenge, because the SEC needs to know that everything is running as it should. And I've got to say, the thing that sticks out to me like a sore thumb is July 31st. If he had that meeting on July 31st, he should have mentioned it on August 1st. If that's the point that he wanted to be, I hope that doesn't cause problems for Tesla. I don't want to see Tesla in trouble. I don't want to see Elon Musk in trouble. I want the company to succeed. But if you sit back a bit and you kind of look at it and you go, there's risky, and then there's not wise, and then there's potentially not allowed. And I'm wondering if those material facts not disclosed on the August 1st shareholder call, in the August 1st Q2 results, is going to come back and bite Tesla in the butt. And I expect to see several lawsuits from investors. In fact, let's see. 2 days ago, Tesla sued over going private tweets, apparently. Investor lawsuit over share price swings. Already happening. Now, whether anything will happen with that, I mean, Tesla's obviously getting sued all the time, as are most other big companies. But it is just bizarre. No, but this is the problem. Okay, so the letter that the letter, if you go to the Tesla website, I'm going to try and put this into the stream. Let's see if I can do this. I can't because, but I can. I suppose I can do that. Look, okay. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but, and this is a big but, creator generator, money might not be his focus, but just because you want to do a good thing does not mean that you get to skirt around legality problems. And what I'm saying is that there is a case, and I'm not anti-Tesla. I am not anti-Tesla, but what I am saying is logically, we look at this logically, not emotionally. Logically, if Elon Musk has some issue because of what he's just said, that could harm Tesla. And it's all very well to go, yeah, but he wants to make the world a better place, and that's great. But you have to follow the rules in there. I'd also refer to the Samsung Korea case, yeah. So I don't know. I'm considering bringing this over onto the main channel and doing a bit on the main channel. Would you all like me to do that? I'm going to go over and maybe do that now, and then we can pick up over there. So now I've got my coffee and I'm in my studio. So let's do that. I will try and set up the proper studio, and we'll try and set this up properly. So we will do that. I'm going to keep this stream live while I set this up, because I'm going to try and use the Wirecast setup that I have, because I prefer Wirecast. If it works. Wirecast shut down unexpectedly. Oh dear. All right, fine. Didn't go that way. Email required. Cancel. All right, we're all good. So just give me a whose rules? Who made them? Can we change them? Will he move? What will he do? No, but this is the thing. You can't just. Okay. You're gonna get me on a social rant now. It seems to be a modern day plague that we have as society. The things we have, we are easily offended when we find people who don't agree with us. We become isolationist as a consequence. And we look at the rules and go, well, if the rules don't apply to us, well, the rules are bad. And yes, sometimes that is true, but we need to make sure that we follow the routes. Yeah, as Carl said, you can't thumb your nose at the SEC and get away with it. And also, it's not okay to fall back on conspiracy as the excuse. It's just not. No, we can't do that. It's not the way it works. And while it would be really lovely to see that happen, and to say, okay, well, that was the problem, it's not necessarily a sensible solution. Let me see if I can get my I'm just trying to drag this through. All right. What version of Wirecast is this? 9.1. Okay. So just bear with me while I do all of this. I'm just going through the process of upgrading stuff. Please bear with me. And then when it's going to take me like 30 seconds. And then we'll be able to go into the mainstream. So I hope you're all having a good day today. I hope you're having fun. I'll keep this. But you also have to consider, why the rules exist. Are they there to really, are they there because they're designed to hold down the little guy who's trying to do the big thing? Because Tesla's not a little guy trying to do a big thing. Are they there to try and protect people, whether it's investors, companies, the government? Or is there something else going on that is also symptomatic of these issues that we're seeing? Okay. So, and the reason why I'm going with the Wirecast is because then I can do my screen sharing and stuff. I'm also going to reach out to Alex and go, yo, wanna come join us? Many of the current rules are there because of Enron. Yeah, they're there to protect people as well. So here we go. I'm just letting Alex know. Alrighty. Please bear with me. Like, you've all been bearing with me so far, so I don't know why I'd ask you to do that differently. All right. It's going to install. Versus other companies, how big is the value of Tesla shares? It's not very big. It's not really very big at all. What? Okay, I don't understand why it's doing this. Quit. Ooh. Okay, I have a weird... I had the wrong program open. Please excuse me. Is Tesla's account meant to be viewed by other people? No, I mean, it's a private account, but the SEC has also said, yeah, this is okay, this is allowed. So we are in a very difficult position, aren't we? Really? So it's a tough one. Right, let me just set this up, so please bear with me. I am still watching this stream. I'm just setting up my output settings and stuff. Turkey. What's wrong about Turkey? Here we go. Destination YouTube. Bom, bom, bom. All right, I just need to log in to Transport Evolved. I'm moving to the main channel. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm setting it up. So just to say, bear with me because I'm in the process of setting this up. Because I'm doing this on my stream, on my whatchamacallit right now, my cell phone. So bear with me. I just need to copy my password and log into things. It takes a while because I'm doing this on the fly. right. All right, so Tesla. All right, so I know that people are going to be upset with that, but it's fine. All right, save. Okay, it's 9:02 a.m. Save. Stupid machine. Okay, it's having difficulties. Please bear with me. Just talk amongst yourselves while I set this up. This is why I set it on the second channel, not the main channel, because I wanted to make sure that if I did this on the main channel, it was set up properly. Actually, you know what? Tell you what, as I don't really want to keep you all here waiting. I'm going to end this stream and then I'm going to jump back on literally in about 5 minutes. This will give me a chance just to make sure everything is right. And we can go from there. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in a sec.